You're listening to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. The show that gives pastors and church leaders the clarity they need to protect their people, property, and ministry.
Welcome back to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance, Protecting Texas Churches. I'm your host, Ron Wadley with Insurance for Texans. This podcast is here to help pastors, church leaders, and ministry decision makers in Texas understand how church insurance really works so you can make wise, confident choices for your congregation. Let's start with a story about Pastor Jim in San Antonio. One quiet Tuesday morning, a letter showed up at his church. It was neatly typed, formal, with legal language that most people would rather never see. The words "notice of claim" jumped out immediately. For Pastor Jim, it felt like the ground shifted beneath his feet. He had been counseling a member of his San Antonio congregation. The sessions had been honest and heartfelt, but the person later claimed that his advice made things worse instead of better. Now the church was being accused of harm and a lawsuit had been filed. Jim believed the truth would come out. What he wasn't prepared for was the sheer cost of a legal defense that included lawyers, filings, depositions, and expert witnesses. Long before any judge made a ruling, the bills started stacking up. This is where a church's pastoral liability insurance policy steps in. The policy is designed to cover damages, but the bigger story is how the church insurance policy handles defense costs. Because in many liability claims, the defense can cost more than the actual settlement. These same principles apply to other types of liability policies as well, not just pastoral liability. There are three key things every Texas church should understand about defense coverage. Number one is duty to defend versus duty to reimburse. With a duty to defend policy, the insurance company steps in right away. They hire the lawyers, pay the bills, and manage the defense. With a duty to reimburse policy, your church pays up front and then waits for the insurer to pay you back. The second option might sound fine in theory to your church board, but in practice, it can crush a church financially. Number two is defense costs inside versus outside the limits. If defense costs are outside the limits, your full liability limit, say $1 million, is available for damages no matter what the lawyers cost. But if they're inside the limits, every dollar spent on defense eats into your coverage. For example, a $100,000 legal bill leaves only $900,000 for damages. That distinction can be massive. Number three is defense. Even if the claim has no merit, good policies provide defense whether or not the accusation is valid. That's what happened with Pastor Jim. His insurer defended him, not because he was guilty, but because the church needed protection while the process played out. Jim's story may be about pastoral counseling, but the principles apply far more broadly. These same defense mechanics apply whether someone slips on your front steps, accuses your board of mishandling decisions, or claims that a staff member acted improperly. Your church doesn't control who files a lawsuit. You only control how prepared you are when one arrives. The way your church liability insurance policy handles defense costs can mean the difference between peace of mind and financial panic. If you're listening today and wondering how your church's policy handles defense costs, don't wait until the letter shows up in your mailbox. Visit insurancefortexans.com to schedule a review of your coverage. And if you'd like to dive even deeper into the nuances of church insurance, I've written a book just for church leaders like you. It's called The Promise of Certainty, and it lays out how to eliminate the guesswork around insurance and protect your church with confidence. You can get your copy at thepromiseofcertainty.com. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance. I'm Ron Wadley, reminding you that protecting your church isn't just about policies. It's about preserving the ministry God has called you to lead.
Thanks for listening to Faith, Stewardship, and Insurance. Until next time, remember, insurance isn't just about policies. It's about safeguarding the mission God has called you to lead.